I bought this watch for one major reason. Can you guess what it is? Welcome back to the channel everyone, I am Chris and today we are looking at a unique little watch that I picked up for an absolute bargain from French microbrand Briston. The founder of Briston, one Brice Jonet, does have some chops when it comes to the industry, having 15 years of experience at the likes of Cartier, Raymond Weil and finally the VP of International Marketing with Zenith before starting this company. And I have to say, he has tried to do something a little different here. I first came across Briston a couple of years ago and I am ashamed to say that I just dismissed them out of hand because they were on sale at TK Maxx of all places. TK Maxx is a fashion store in the UK that sometimes sells decent timepieces. I've seen Victorinox, Citizen and Rado on sale on there before, but mostly it is known for selling fashion brands and cheaper timepieces that just wouldn't stand the test of time. So as you can imagine, I initially dismissed them, not because of anything other than where it was on sale, which ironically is down to the marketing. But after a while, they started popping up in my feed more and more, and I decided to do a bit of digging and finally resolved to buy this watch for just £200. Which, by the way, is well below the retail price for this one, another fashion watch tactic, although this was a retailer and I suspect they were selling them because of low sales and not being able to move the stock. But did I buy well? Well, let's get into it. Firstly, let's have a look at the specifications before we go into the review. So we have a 42mm diameter watch and a lug-to-lug of 42mm as well. This wears well for a pretty square watch. 11.45mm thick and 20mm lug-to-lug, and this comes on a standard nylon NATO style strap. This watch has a sapphire crystal, 100 meters of water resistance and a screw down crown at the 4 o'clock. Slightly disappointing C1 Superluminova lume, a nice 2-year warranty, and this is powered by the Sellita SW330-1 GMT function. Now, can you guess out of those specs initially why I bought this watch for £200? I'll give you a few more minutes. Finally, the construction of this case is unique, being mostly the acetate tortoise shell with a ring of stainless steel. It has originality and character, I'll definitely give it that. So looks wise, I think you'll agree when I say this watch looks nothing like anything in my or most of your collections. It is original, unique and does grow on you, oddly enough. Even with the construction of acetate, it doesn't feel that flimsy. In fact, it feels pretty good. Maybe not as solid as stainless steel, but I would have no problems wearing this one daily. That is until I damage the case on a door frame and lament my existence for an hour or so. Moving on from the case, we have two crowns at 4 and at 2. The 4 o'clock is the one to adjust the movement. It is a screw down crown and this is an office caller's GMT. If you move it into the first position, you can set the date and the GMT hand, and if you pull out one more, you can set the others as well. As mentioned before, the 4 o'clock is a screw down crown. The 2 PM isn't a screw down crown, but you can adjust the inner bezel ring to, in theory, track a third time zone, but I'll be honest, how many of you guys are going to be doing that? There is an exhibition case back, not sure whether it's sapphire crystal or mineral, but you can see the specs of the watch, including this one is a limited edition to 500 pieces and the unbranded SW330 powering the movement. But the main reason I bought this watch is because of the movement, and for £200 I got a watch with an SW330-1 GMT movement, and that was my primary motivation for buying this piece. Of course it hacks and hand winds with a 42-hour power reserve, but you can find Sellita GMT movements in watches like the Oris Aquis GMT, which at full retail goes for £2,400. Of course, given the proportions of this watch, it does wear surprisingly well on my 7.5-inch wrist, and the dial is simple but I think pretty effective thanks to its use of black and white colour. The inner bezel is split between black and white, and on the dial you have a simple minute track and baton indices covering the dial, with the only exception being the beveled date window at 3 o'clock and the double baton at 12. The GMT hand and GMT script give it a much needed pop of colour in without what would be a pretty dull run-of-the-mill dial. But it's not all sunshine and rainbows. The lume on this one is poor. I would have preferred either more lume or actually none at all. And although I like the design and the finishing on the dial, it seems a little rough around the edges, which is something I can forgive for £200, but the fact that this watch retails for £1,200 is just a definite no in my opinion. So, who is this watch for? Well, to be honest, it is a tough question to answer. If you have a large collection and can find it for the right price, then maybe it's worth considering, but it is not anything to write home about. It's just an interesting piece to have in your collection. I think there are better priced GMTs if you are willing to pay up to £500, let alone the extortionate rate of £1,200 for this piece. And I think mainly you are paying for the movement and nothing else at that price. But what do you think? Let me know in the comments below. I don't know, maybe this watch will grow on me. As always, links to this watch, and I will have affiliated links to other GMTs at this price, and the similar price points will be below. Take care everyone, and I will see you all very soon.